Hello, Big Show nerds. Thank you once again for joining me on your Nerd News Headlines. This is the headline show for February 11th, 2020. And it's another quickie episode. Honestly, even the rumor mill is relatively short. So we've got a little bit of Oscars to talk about. Locke and Key. Birds of Prey, for some reason, is still in the news. Why is it there? I don't know. Let's jump into the intro and then we can get to all of that. Now, let's talk TV streaming. And honestly, like I said, this is going to be a quick episode because TV streaming, I've got two pieces. Movies, I've got two pieces. And rumor mill, I've got two pieces. Though the rumor mill is a little bit bigger because one of those pieces is actually like 6 pieces in one. So we'll get there. Right now, TV streaming, first and foremost, the Oscars happened on Sunday and nobody really cares anymore because it was just 2.5 hours of la la blah blah blah. So, noteworthy things that happened. There was some interesting performances, so you can check those out on YouTube. Janelle Monáe, Eminem, Billie Eilish, all of these things happened. As far as winners go, Parasite won Best Picture. Joker won Best Original Score and Best Leading Actor, and then Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, rather. I always want to say Mexico. That's a completely different movie. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood's Brad Pitt won his first acting Oscar, which I actually thought was really interesting that he hasn't won an Oscar before this. Like, come on, man, it's Brad freaking Pitt. Acceptance speeches being the reason I don't watch these shows anymore. This was not an exception to that rule for me, so you can watch those if you want, but I just saved you 2.5 hours of mind-numbing boringness. So that's what we've got there, and then we're going to jump over to, and there's like really no announcements. We have some things coming back that are getting announced for, coming back for Season 4 and Season 5 and new seasons and stuff like that, but really nothing big and noteworthy just yet. We are in that time of year where we've slumped. It is what it is. It's just the way the news cycle goes. That's why we rely on the rumor mill at this time of year, and even the rumor mill today might be a little lacking. Anyway, rambling like I do. So the last piece is Locke and Key. Locke and Key has launched over on Netflix and to some mixed reviews as far as like, yeah, the reviewers, the people who get the aggregate on the one side of Rotten Tomatoes that, you know, you're a professional reviewer, yay, congratulations. They seem to be liking it-ish. But the fans are definitely split because this is very, 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 very different from the comic books. They find the keys in different orders. Again, I'm definitely not the foremost source for all that is Locke and Key, though I am dating somebody who's a pretty good source for all that is Locke and Key. And it's not a bad series. It's just strange that they've changed it in some of the ways that they have. Some of which Joe Hill has himself taken ownership for. Hey, this was my idea to change it. Most notably, the name of the town is no longer Lovecraft, because you can Google that one as to why that is. We're not going to get into it. But that's what we've got for TV streaming. Now we got to move over to movies, and movies is a little bit thicker, but again, there's only two pieces. First piece is Birds of Prey. Just launched this weekend. The Generally Nerdy review is up on the YouTube, so you can go check that out. But it's kind of not been the best launch for DC Warner Brothers. It was originally slated at approximately 100. I think it was like 160, if I remember correctly, was what they were hoping the opening weekend would come out to, and then they dropped that down to about 60, and then they dropped that down to about 40, and then they dropped it down to 35, and then the final numbers came in, and it was $33 million opening weekend. with international opening weekend, that brings it to about 78 million. So even international couldn't bump it up over $100 million opening weekend. And so there's a little bit of damage control. It sounds like Warner Brothers is trying to not even do a spin control, but really like rebrand the movie. So they have officially changed the way that the movie is being presented. They are changing the title. Obviously, they're not changing the title card in the movie because that's ridiculous. It's a little too late to change the whole title card, but they are changing the way it is being billed at theaters. It is no longer Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn. It is now being branded as Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey, or Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey, depending on where you are. It seems like they're trying two different tactics to maybe fix the bad press a little bit, because one of the big things was the crazy long title that people just didn't care about. And the title implies that it's a Birds of Prey movie, and if you've seen the movie, it is obviously a Harley Quinn movie. She's not a part of the Birds of Prey in the comic books. She's not even a part of the Birds of Prey in the movie, so that it's kind of interesting that they're taking it in that direction. That's all we have there, though. Our second and final piece for movies is that Venom 2 has wrapped production in London. Not completely. They still have some filming left to do in San Francisco, it sounds like, but the largest chunk of their filming production is done. They have a little bit of follow-ups and some more coverage to get, I'm sure, and then we're into post. We're into the biggest bear of modern comic book movies is the post, because you have to do all of those special effects shots, and you have to do, in Venom, you have to, every friggin' scene with the symbiote, you have to make it crazy, right? So, still, one step closer to seeing Venom 2. That's pretty awesome. Now, let's get into the rumor mill, because I know that's why about half of you are watching this anyway. So, rumor mill for this episode. First rumor for the episode, set of rumors, I guess, revolves around Doctor Strange 2. Both of our rumors are movie rumors, and they are both MCU, Disney Plus related. So, if you don't care about those things, then thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next one. But we're continuing on. Doctor Strange 2, we have another rumor about Ghost Rider probably being in this movie, though this time it's kind of against the last rumor we got. Alejandra Jones is, according to this rumor, not going to be the Ghost Rider we get. Not because the last rumor was false necessarily, but because Fiege has run into issues and scheduling things and so on and so forth. I don't know if it has anything to do with the actress he wanted to play Alejandra, which was Bella Thorne, but that seems to not be the direction they're going anymore. Now they're going to do the 90s version of the Ghost Rider character, who will rumors say will be played by Brett Dalton, who you will recognize from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. He played Agent Grant Ward. And he will be Danny Ketch, again, the 90s version of Ghost Rider. Also, it seems that this is likely the source of those Shuri as Black Panther rumors, because, again, Multiverse of Madness, we're going to be seeing alternate versions of characters we know. This makes more sense than if we got a whole new movie with Shuri as Black Panther, though it could be them doing the testing grounds, quote unquote, to see if Shuri as Black Panther will do well, and then maybe even further down the line they'll make that transition from Chadwick Boseman to Letitia Wright. It's a rumor, so we don't know. So we're moving on. Next set of rumors, I guess, revolve around Captain Marvel 2, because this is the biggest one that everybody wants to talk about, because, yeah, I really don't know. So first we have rumors saying that Disney is looking to cast a young male version of Nova. So maybe we won't be seeing female Nova. Maybe that version of Nova won't be romantically involved with Brie Larson's Captain Marvel. Maybe, it sounds like this rumor, if this rumor is to be believed, this version will be the actual Richard Rider Nova, and he will be approximately the same age as Spider-Man, and those two are going to hit it off. Not in a romantic way, but in a kind of bromance kind of way, which, honestly, if we've learned anything from the last year and a half of woke movie making, that might be a better direction to go in. But I don't know, Fiege doesn't really have a whole lot of missteps under his belt, so I'm honestly just going to let him steer the ship and not make too many speculations or judgments before things actually happen. So then, following that, there are even more rumors about this movie revolving around Rogue and Moonshine potentially being in this movie. Some of the rumors have the Rogue and or Moonshine appearance happening in Captain Marvel 3, which I feel like we're way far out to be speculating on that movie because 2 isn't even into production yet. So that is potentially happening, though some of my other sources have put the kibosh on Rogue being in Captain Marvel 2. There's too much that has to happen before that comes out, though still other rumors, and these are the ones that say Rogue and or Moonshine will be in Captain Marvel 3, say that we will see Rogue as a villain in Captain Marvel 3. She will be part of the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants when we first get introduced to her, which is interesting thing to happen. I believe that actually happened in the comic books in the 90s. My brain is not picking that one up very clearly, but I'm fairly certain that happened. I know for a moment in the animated series that happened. So yeah. And then still more rumors, and this is more specifically about Moonstone, say that Moonstone is going to be introduced in the MCU relatively soon, but not in Captain Marvel 2. She will become a staple character, perhaps, in the Thunderbolts Disney Plus series. But all of this is just rumor, and we don't know yet. But that's the end of the rumors section. That does it for this episode of Headlines Nerds. For a deeper conversation on these nerdy bits, plus much more nerdy action, then join me over on my personal YouTube channel, Generally Nerdy. But while you're here, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share on all of the Big Show Entertainment Media platforms. And tune in next time for all that's happening across the nerd world.